Okie dokie. Well, good evening, all. This is Tom here, and welcome to Cab Crew Wednesday. How you all doing? Hope you can hear me. And let's say hello to everybody that's in the chat so far. We got Dwight Curley's here. Hey, Dwight, welcome. We got Ray Bertelson's here. Welcome, Ray. We got Ronald Redu. Welcome, Ronald. How you doing? Glad to see you here. Chuck Shivers here. Hey, Chuck, how you doing? Welcome. And then we got Dan from DMRJ. Welcome, Dan. How you doing? Glad to see you in here tonight. So we got a nice little crew here so far. Don't forget to hit that like button, everyone. That's awesome. Glad to see everybody in tonight. How's everybody doing? Well, at least we're above freezing weather, finally. It was in the 40s today for the first time in about a month and a half, or more even. So it's been wasn't too bad weather-wise. It started drizzling a little bit, little rain. The snow is slowly dissolving. So it's interesting how that goes. So but let's go over some of the things here. Today, Barbara had to have her eye operated on again. She went down to Philadelphia to the eye center down there, and had to go down there real early in the morning. And then she got back around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so she's out home resting and stuff like that. So I think things went pretty well. But she has to go to the doctors again tomorrow to see how, make sure everything's going okay. But that's a little update on her. She's doing pretty good there. And so my track cleaning process has been moving along with some glitches here and there. And what I did was from that track cleaning guy, he's on YouTube, and you guys, I've talked to him about him before. And I had this passenger train on my first level layout, and it had a GP30, which was my scale train engine, pulling the train. And I bought a GP30 dummy engine, thinking that he was going to be able to mill that out and make that a track cleaning car for me. But he told, after I talked to him about it, he wasn't able. He only can make certain models, and GP30 isn't one of the models that he can make. So I'm going, okay, what am I going to do now? So I looked, and he had an F7 engine that was a track cleaning car. And I said, okay, I have an F7 engine up in my yard. Let me put that on the passenger train. And I ran that around, and it went around the track smooth, no glitches, no nothing. And it ran fine. So I said, great. So I ordered the F7 track cleaning engine from the guy. So it took a while to get here, got here. I set it all up with a decoder in it, a speaker, and a headlight. And I put it on the track and tried to run it around, and it failed. And the reason it failed was the pads on the bottom of the car, when it was going around a corner, they fell into the inside of the rail and was getting caught on the tie, and it stopped the train from moving. So I couldn't get a hold of him. I finally got a hold of him. We talked about it. And then he told me, well, I have that track that passenger train is on is 15-inch radius curves going around the layout. So that's why I got the GP30, because that would run on a 15-inch radius too. And the F7s run on a 15-inch radius. So I assumed that the F7 track meet car will work. Well, when I looked at the pictures of the pads, they were a little bit too far in. If they were out a little bit, they wouldn't have fell into the inside of the rail. So I couldn't convince him to do that. So I had to send it back to him, and he's sending me back some cars that'll work on a 15-inch radius track. And so the other side of the layout of the passenger car is another train. Yeah, that's right. Welcome, JD. How you doing? Yeah, I know. I was going to say something. I was waiting for JD to come in, and okay, good. Because I watched that video and couldn't make no comments on it. I just hit the like button on it. But yeah, I saw that was off. Now, that doesn't happen when I do it from my phone. So there's got to be some setting on your phone that's doing that, maybe. I had to check it out. I don't use my phone to upload videos unless it's a short. Maybe if I'm doing a short, then I'll upload it, and then I modify it on the computer after I get it up there. See, I don't publicize my videos immediately. I mark them as unlisted, and then I give it 24 hours before I send it out. That gives me time to modify it, put in another thumbnail if I want, or change the title name, or to put in more descriptions and hashtags in the descriptions and all that kind of stuff. So that's what happens. So anyway, back to the track cleaning car. So on the other side of the layout, I had a 50-foot hopper car on the train, and I'd run it around, and it got hung up on my three-way switch, which I'm trying to get Jason to make me a code 83 three-way switch, because I found that the transition joiners dropped down and it caused a little bump there. So I fixed that temporarily, and then it ran through there, but the car was derailing on certain spots. So I didn't want to figure out all that. So I moved that car to another train. And when he sends me the two smaller track cleaning cars, I'll put that on that train, and that should run a lot smoother than the 50-footer. So I sent that F7 engine back to him, and I shipped it out UPS. And I shipped out UPS on Monday, right? Monday, I shipped it out on Monday. Even though it was a holiday, the UPS store was open, and I dropped the package off there. That arrived at his place today in Michigan, okay? That's how quickly, when I ship things, get delivered. But on the other hand, when I'm receiving things, no. So I ordered a bunch of stuff, and I'll explain that in a minute. So, so the 50-footer, I moved up to another train that I have up on a 5th level that needed a track cleaning car. Hey, Gerald, welcome. How you doing? Glad to see you in here. I just point and shoot and load and no edit. Yeah, but that's the problem with doing it on your phone. You know, there's not as many options to go through to check things, and that's probably default settings. Um, Maybe because of the allowing the option of children watching the video, that one causes comments to be turned off automatically. So if you do it on your phone, maybe that option is checked by default, and maybe you need to go in there and check that off, that you're not, then it won't hide the comments out. So there's a couple ways to get around things. So you have to just look a little deeper into it. But anyway, so the other track cleaning car on my other train, that runs fine around. And what he was telling me also was, he said, don't put it right behind the engine, put it back a couple cars, because the jerkety movement of the first car off of the engine could cause problems. So I'm moving it back a couple cars just to see if that helps it any. I tried to do that with the other car, and that didn't make no difference. It still derailed. So there's something on one of the curves that, I don't know. I have two 50-foot box cars on the end of that train, and they go around with no problem. One's a sound car, and the other one's a Fred car, and they go around with no problem at all. So I don't know. So I think it was the last show or the show before that, I was telling you guys that I was going to get some SW7 engines. So I ordered a couple off of eBay, and I got 2 of them in, and the third one seemed to do a around the world tour of the United States. I don't know why, but that's what I was going to talk about in a minute about the post office. I ordered a bunch of stuff, and the SW7, the one I got from a guy on eBay, he was in Texas, and he shipped it out of El Paso, Texas. Well, it went from El Paso, Texas to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Don't ask me why. It sat in Albuquerque, New Mexico for 5 days, no movement. On the 6th day, it showed up in Dallas, Texas. So why didn't El Paso send it directly to Dallas, Texas? Who knows, right? Then it went from Dallas to it ended up 3 days traveling from Dallas to get to Warrensdale, Pennsylvania, which is out by Pittsburgh. So so then it sat there for a day, and now it's in New Jersey, which is the next post office that comes to my post office, and it's going to be here tomorrow. So, but anyway, that was just that one. That went a roundabout way to get here. It's 18 days for that to get here, that one. So that's a little bit strange. So the SW7s, hey Bob, welcome. So my SW7s, this is one of them. This is a Illinois Central engine here. And I took off the shell, and all these old Atherons, the DC engines, they have this tab on them here. There's one on each side. And then it has a bar that goes across there, and that's what gives it the power going back and forth, between the two trucks, and that gives it power to the motor and stuff, right? So I tried to fit a decoder in here into this shell, and I couldn't close the lid. Then I was able to get a small decoder like this kind inside there, and then I was able to close the lid completely. So this would work. So I then contacted Soundtracks on the weekend, and I said, hey, George, I sent him an email, and I said, hey, George, I was able to get this into my SW7 engine, and this should work. And then he started talking to me about, well, what's the stall current on that motor? He says, these 21 pin, these 21 pin decoders only support 1 amp of power. Now, the purple Soundtracks decoder, the TSU 2200, that purple one that has the wires coming out of it, and any board, that'll support up to 2 amps of power. Okay? So I'm going, okay, what do I do? So George emailed me back, and he told me, find out what the stall current is. Well, I'm looking, and it's you have to set your meter to ohms, right? So I have two different meters, and the one has the ohm settings on it, and you have 1K, 2K, and whatever the other one is, and you turn the dial to that, and it does the ohms. Well, I wasn't getting any reading out of it. I put it on the top bar here and on the frame, which is ground, get no reading at all. So I took my other meter, connected it to the brass top here, this brass piece here, and to the frame, and then I was getting readings. But then George, I was on the phone with George, and I said, George, what do I do? Oh, before this happened, this is over the weekend. I didn't get to talk to George until Monday on the phone. So over the weekend, I emailed George, and then I emailed him back with what I had discovered, and I couldn't get any answer out of him. So then I emailed Jason, and I told him the same thing, and I says, hey, these motors are over 1 amp, but I don't know exactly how much over they are. So I said, with decoders, then after I emailed him, then he called me and we talked for a little bit, and then he came up with some number of decoders, and then I got these in today. These aren't decoders, but these are the adapter boards. That's the adapter board. And then I got a wiring harness that goes on to this board here for the wires, okay? Because there's not enough pins on here for the motor and the trucks. So you have to get a wiring harness for that. So Jason gave me these numbers. So I went on, I ordered three things from Jason. One of the decoders, he only had one of them, that the number he gave me in stock. So I got one of them from him. I got one of these adapters from him because I have 3 engines, so I need 3 of these, right? So I got one of those from him. And then the wiring harnesses, I got those 3 wiring harnesses from him. So he shipped them out and they're on their way, right? So then after I talked to Jason, Stealth House must be, I don't know what that is. So after I talked to Jason, then I talked to George. And then we finally figured out that these motors were over 1 amp. And those 21 pin decoders that I ordered 2 off of eBay and 1 off of Jason. I didn't get, so I you know, they're $100 a piece, you know, $98 and some change, $100 a piece. So I had $300 worth of decoders on order. Then I find out that these motors would burn out those decoders. So George says, you're going to need to replace the motor. So I said, okay, but he didn't know what kind of motor to replace it with. This after I got off the phone with George, Jason called me. He was on his way home from work. And he said, hey, Tom, I was talking to Soundtracks. And he was talking to the other guy, Tom. There's a George and a Tom there. I met both of them guys up at Amherst. They were there. And he said, Tom said, the motor that fits in a SW1000 and the MP 1500, which is the 1500 switcher by Athearn, will fit in the SW7 engine. So I said, great. So then I did some searches, and on eBay, I found a guy in New Jersey that had the motors. So then I called Soundtracks and spoke to Tom, and I said, I found this motor. And he says, well, if you can't get any motors, he had some he could have sold me. He had some in his stock. But I said, I found some in New Jersey, and this is the one. And he said, oh, you got a good deal on that. They were a good price. And so I got 3 of those motors coming. So, so I have to change the motors. But the motors don't have a flywheel on them. And these have a flywheel on them. So that has to fit into the flywheel from the gearbox to there, right? So I watched a video on how to remove the flywheel. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Welcome. I watched a video on how to remove the flywheel from the engine. Hey, James, welcome. So this guy took a mallet screw. Joe Rader, welcome. They're gold covered. They're brass. So these motors are over an amp, Joe. They won't work. So he took a mallard nail, and he took a special kind of hammer and to start tapping them out, and they popped out and everything. And I says, you know. So I said, wait a minute. So then I called up Soundtracks and was telling them, hey, I found a motor, blah, blah, blah. And then I talking to him about the flywheels, and he told me about a tool, a flywheel removal tool. And I found one. He told me that Midwest Model Railroad. Hey, welcome. Um, the So the motors, then I can take that flywheel remover tool and remove these flywheels off of here, and then press them on. Um, well, he's almost blind, Bob. He has he's vision impaired, so he needs something bright to be able to see. Because I 3D printed him some fluorescent parts some time ago. Matter of fact, I still have the fluorescent paints up on my shelf here. So I said, um, so now I'm waiting for the motors to come, and then I replace the motor, remove the flywheels off of these motors, put these flywheels on there, and then all the gear, the tube there will go in. Hey, Chris, welcome. How you doing? So it'll then go in here, and the newer motors, they're the high performance and they're DCC ready motors, and they're a little bit smaller, so you might be able to put a decoder on top of them. But I got the 21 pin decoders, and if that works, then hey, Ken, Amos, how you doing? Welcome. Then I will change that to do that. Yeah, that's right, Bob. You can. I wouldn't spray paint them at all. I would hand paint them, and you got to be real careful um, where you apply the paint, because people have weathered. Welcome, Dave. How you doing? So um, that's what's going on with the F7s. So I'm waiting for these parts, right? So I ordered them all a couple days ago. It was probably Sunday I ordered them all. Well, I got notification that they shipped to everything, right? And they were sitting at a post office in the accepted mode, and boom, it never changed. Then one did, then another one did, and one just did now a few minutes ago. And there's still one in Sarasota, Florida, which is the turnout I'm waiting for. That's in accepted mode, and that hasn't moved at all. So I'm going, okay. So now they're moving. So, like I was telling you before, the F7 track cleaning car, I sent it back. So now I'm going to put my GP30 back on the passenger train. And I said, I got that dummy GP30 frame and shell. I'm going to put a motor in it. And then I will make that a consist engine. And then when I get the track cleaning car, two engines will pull it along easier than one can. So I got this here. This is a GP30 engine, and it's a dummy. It didn't have no motor in it. So I had a motor in my stock, and it has the gear boxes on there and the shaft and everything. It goes right into the motor. Everything works. The only thing is I don't have the motor secured because this kind screws in. So the guy I got the motors from, he had the screws for the Atherin motors and that. So that was shipped today. That'll get here sometime over the weekend, probably, hopefully. And that's what's going on with that engine. So I have to wait until I get the screws so that I can do that. And then I got to get a decoder. I think I might use that this decoder for that engine. It's a motor decoder from Soundtracks. No sound in it, and I don't need sound in the second consist engine. Not really, although all my other ones do. But if this is what I have, I might as well use it in there. So so that's what's going on with that engine, and that'll be a consist, and that'll help the track cleaning car pull it along. So speaking of track cleaning, still, I designed my own track cleaning car. This guy here, and those are the pads. We got 5 people that didn't hit the like button. And hey, Kyle Stevens, welcome. Those are the pads from that track cleaning guy. So I drilled out the holes, then I reamed out the holes, and then those things fit in there nicely. The springs, I had to ream out a 1/4-inch hole on the bottom of the hole, about 3-4 millimeters deep. Then the spring goes in there. See, these things push up. Okay, so I put this on the back of the subway train. This is what these were for. They're for the subway train. And to get the track up there clean all the time, you know, so I don't have to go up there and manually do it. So inside here, you take this lid off and there's weights in there. That's what weights it down. So put this on the train and the train couldn't even move. It wouldn't even move forward. So I took the cars off of the train and put this right behind the engine, and it wouldn't even move it. So you need more power to pull these things around. Now this car weighed almost 8 ounces with the weights in there. So I said, okay, how am I going to do this? So I was so determined that I was going to go out and buy 2 more sets of the subway system cars, because they come in a set of 4, and you get the engine and 3 cars. Yeah, no battery operations here, Bob. The So I went on Train World because that's where I got them from before. Thomas, I remember having a roundhouse car with those pads under it. Yeah, right. That's right, Ronald. So I then said, what can I do? Like I said, I went to Train World. That's where I got the trains from originally. They don't make them anymore. And now all they have is Rapido stuff now. And it's all back order crap. And then they want you to pay the tariffs because it's coming from a foreign country, right? So I don't want any business doing with that. So you don't have it here in the United States, then I'm not buying it from you. Okay. So especially if you're going to charge me tariffs for which the company should absorb, not me. But anyway, that's a whole other story. So I then said, what can I do? So I went up and I looked for a subway cars. Couldn't find anybody having them at all. And some on the prices on eBay were even higher than what they were originally. And they were only giving you the cars, not the engine. So I said, Then I found this real interesting thing. It was an F7B unit that was powered. They're made by Atherin, and they're powered B units. There's no nose on them. They're just the box. I call it a box. Okay? I don't know what the technical term is, but it's a B unit with no nose. Like you see it, sometimes you see an A and a B, and it has a nose on it. Or I have two A and Bs, and they're just the boxes on them. But mine are just dummies. But these are powered units. So I found two of them on eBay. I ordered them, and they're on their way. They're coming from Kansas. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right, Bob. Yeah. Well, you know, if I didn't have to worry about tariffs, I don't know if Rapido sells just the Subway engine because all I saw was the sets, and they were like $800, $900, and I'm not going to spend $800, $900 for a freaking this because I need this an engine. Now that would make my subway train a lot longer, but I don't. That's not my goal. Is to make the subway train longer. Okay. The subway station has enough platform space for the number of cars that I have on the subway train. So that's not an option. Box booster both start with B. Yeah. Right. So um, just finished your completed your co-loader. Very good, Kyle. Nice. So anyway, those two are coming from someplace out in Kansas. And like I said, they were all in this accepted state. So I called up the post office today and I said, hey, what's going on? And I was on the phone with the post office waiting to get to talk to a rep, and boom, one of the things updated. So I just have to call the post office and rant to them a little bit, and then the things start moving around. But the one in Florida still says accepted. And this guy who I bought this turnout from is going to get a bad review from me once I get it in house here, because on his page, when I ordered it, it said shipping, cost was whatever it was. I don't remember, $6 or $7, post office fees. And, delivery by a certain date. Well, that date has long gone. It took him 12 days to get it to the post office. 12 days from the day I ordered. That's unacceptable. Okay? Now, I ordered something from Jason. I ordered it in the morning, or Monday morning. He texted me saying he got my order. He says, when I come home tonight, I'll pack it up and ship it out. And then he had it out the mail the next day. That's what I expect. If you're working and you're selling things and you come home and then you have to do your business part, I can understand a day or two. 12 days is unacceptable. Okay? Last Saturday, the weekend, Monday was a holiday, right? So, Saturday, I get notification that he shipped it finally. That was the 10th day. Or the 9th day, because Sunday was the 10th, 11th, and 12th. Yeah, Tuesday was the 12th day. Because Tuesday, it finally got to the post office. And that's 12 days away. Yeah, maybe, Mike. Because the funny thing is, the seller, I always look to see where they're located because I want to know about how long it's going to take for me to get it. This guy said he was in Maryland. I said, great, Maryland, that's close. No more than 2 days to ship from Maryland to New Jersey, even though it's only 4-hour drive from my house to Maryland. Okay, so I'll give it 2 days from the time they ship it out. And he shipped it out of Sarasota, Florida. Now, I don't know what's going on with that. Maybe his warehouse is in Sarasota and he lives in Maryland, or he says he has a Maryland address. I don't know what's going on. But as long as I get the turnout and it's the right one and it works, that's all I care about. But there's no reason why it should have taken 12 days to get it to the post office. I don't care if he had to get it from Europe or China. He shouldn't have said it was in stock. That to me is a lie. Okay, that's false advertisement. When you say on your eBay, delivery by certain day, and you didn't even get it to the post office by that end of the window they had. They had like February 14th to February 18th, I think it was. He didn't even get it to the post office by then. So no way can it get here in that window. So that's false advertising. And when I did a review on that guy, I don't know how far negative I can go on the eBay reviews, but it'll be the first time I ever given anybody that much of a negativity because I've never had this kind of issue with anybody shipping out things. Everything I look before I order, I contact information and look at shipping, how many days after you order it, how many before they ship it out. And most guys are 1 day, some are 2, some are 3. But this guy, 12 days, no, not acceptable. So I'll never buy anything from him again at all because I don't respect people that tell me lies. Don't lie to me. If you can't produce it, then you should say, hey, I'm waiting for something to happen or blah, 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 blah. Just tell me the truth. I'm not hard to get along with. Explain it to me. Don't just say, well, Monday was a holiday. I can't get it out Monday because the post office was closed. Well, I shipped something on Monday. I didn't have any problem getting something to the shipper on Monday, and my package got to its destination today that I shipped out. So don't tell me about post office being closed. Then you shouldn't have used post office to ship it. You should have used some other carrier, get it out the door. So he's got a bad review coming up from me. So, and it hasn't even left Sarasota yet. It still hasn't left Sarasota yet. When we were talking here, there was one other one that didn't. When it started the start of my show, there was two things. One was in upstate New York. I don't know where in New York it is. And the other one was in Sarasota, Florida. They're the only two that hadn't moved in all the orders that I have. And so the one in New York moved, and it departed from the local post office, and it's in another center right now, and it's going to move, and it's going to be here by Friday. That's what it said, and that's what it's doing. The one in Sarasota says it's going to be here Saturday, and it hasn't moved yet. It's never going to get here by Saturday, not from Sarasota, unless they fly it up. It's not going to happen. And if I don't see it moved by tomorrow, I'm going to email that guy again. And I'm going to say, hey, what's going on? Why is it still sitting in your post office in Sarasota? Go down there and ask them why they haven't sent it out yet. Because this is crazy, I need that to finish a project, and I want to get it done. So, So I don't know how many of you caught my intro video. I painted the tunnel inside. eBay won't squat unless money gets involved. They care less about shipping issues. Yeah, I know. I'm not talking about eBay. I'm talking about the shipper himself. The guy, you have to give, reviews when you buy something from somebody. Well, Joe, I'm not going to get eBay involved until I don't see no movement in this package out of Sarasota, Florida. But believe me, if I ordered something from China the same day this guy, I would have had it already. Okay, so it's just stupid how some things are. How people. I don't know why. Work ethic, I think, went out the window a long time ago. And, if I'm running a business and I need to ship things out, that would be priority to get it out the door so the customer is happy, not 12 days. I had to ask him I sent him maybe 5 or 6 messages saying, when's it going to ship? When's it going to ship? And, no responses to that kind of a question till I asked him, oh, you shipped it. When are you going to drop it off at the post office? He said, the post office closed on Monday. I can't take it out until after Monday. Should have done it the day you shipped it and created the shipping label. Give it to the post office then if Monday was a holiday. So anyway, I don't know if anybody saw last night, but YouTube went down. I was watching, what's that show on Tuesday night? Off the Tracks Tuesday or something. with Wilbur and Robert and Wilbur, right? And I was watching their show, no problem. I get out of their show and I wanted to look up some other things to see what was going on in the political world and everything. And YouTube was down. Couldn't. All it said was, "Oops, try again." So I went to my phone, got the same error. I went to YouTube Studio, and YouTube Studio was working, but YouTube was down. Now, if you knew of a video, you could go to that video and watch a video. You can watch videos, but you know the home page was not available for at least 3 hours. Then at about 11:30 at night, I checked it again, and then it came back on. So it was out about 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours it was. So I don't know if anybody else experienced that last night. I called Jim Tedesco, and he said, yeah, he had the same problem. He couldn't get on it either. So that's another thing that happened. So, and I have YouTube TV. My TV, I don't have cable here. I use YouTube TV. Since I have an internet service, I just subscribe to YouTube TV. Since I'm a YouTube user, YouTube TV, I watch YouTube TV. And it was working. It was just YouTube home page was dead in the water. Couldn't get it. Nothing. You couldn't see any new videos that came out. If you didn't get you could look at the notification bar button, and then you see all your notifications. Then you could click on that and watch something. But sometimes I just like to see what's being presented, and then I click on one of them to watch or whatever. So strange, but it happens, I guess. And I didn't see no email from them saying apologize for the outage and stuff. So, hey Russ, welcome. How you doing? Glad to see you in here. Missed you. So, you just come in, Russ, because I didn't say hello to you, but I just caught you. Yeah, there were only 43 people complaining. Only that many? Well, I don't know about that. There probably a lot more didn't. Probably a lot of people didn't even care. They just got off. Down Detector had over 400K outage reports last night on YouTube. Yeah. Well, yeah. So it was definitely. Just got here. Good, Russ. No problem. So I just said that's that. So I don't know if anybody was here when I was running my video, the intro video with the train running. That was done today. I did that video after I painted the inside of that tunnel, which was a real trick to do. And what I did, I couldn't reach all the way in from the backside to paint some of the walls or the ceiling and stuff like that. So what I did was I had a sponge brush, with the sponge on the end type of thing, and I taped it onto a long stick, like about that long, maybe 1.5 feet, 2 feet, taped it on there, dipped it in the paint, and then I was able to reach in there and paint as much as I could. It was hard to see without trying to get anything dropping onto the tracks, which I was lucky I didn't get anything on there. And so I did that. So then I ran the train through with the camera on it, and I still have a white spot. In a certain section of the tunnel, I have a white spot. So there's 2 white spots there, and I don't know what they are. I don't know what's causing them. I thought painting the inside black would make that white go away, but that wasn't the case. it helped a little bit because as the train was coming in the top one, the top tunnel, it hit the white spot immediately. Now it doesn't hit that immediately. It hits it somewhere else around there. So there's some more things I can do inside there. And the color inside the tunnel was a purplish color. So I'm wondering if I put some LED lights in there to light up the tunnel, if that would help the camera. Because I have two Wi-Fi cameras in there in the tunnel, and I can tell my Echo device to turn on them, and I can watch them two cameras on my Echo device. And they have lights on them, and when it gets dark in there, the lights come on. So, well, when something moves in there, the lights come on. So, I don't know if the lights are causing it to be purplish color. I'm not that savvy on the lighting effects type of thing in the world, but it's something I'm thinking about putting maybe some LED lights in there, and I can tack them up on top of the mountain in the inside part, and then turn them on, not real bright, and see if that gives it enough light in there to do. And there's a couple of pockets of white space that I can fill that in and make it look like rocks and stuff like that. And that maybe that whiteness there was what the camera was catching. I don't know. So I got to look at the video again and see exactly where it hits the white spot. And then from that point where the train was, then I can tell inside the tunnel where it was looking at. So it's a process. So we're getting close. And today I had one building in my drop back buildings that I didn't get the windows taken care of and the lights and everything. And I made out of cardboard, not cardboard, but out of this white cardstock paper, and I made a bigger roof on it, and I put the building on an angle in a corner so that roof would cover any light coming up. So, but I put hot glue down on the layout, and then I stuck the building on there, but then the damn building fell over. So the hot glue didn't stick. So I don't know why. So I got to figure out another way to secure that building in its spot so it doesn't move. Because the problem is, once I put that building there, I got to put the backdrop piece back up against that. And I think when I was putting the backdrop piece up there, it pushed the building over, and I didn't realize it because I can't see that panel in the back. I can take that out to work on the layout from back there if I have to, and that's where that building is, in that corner there. So I gotta do some work on that tomorrow in the daylight and go from there. Now, behind me, you can see through the door, it's blue. Back in here, in my, right there, that's blue back there. Okay. Those lights are different color lights. So I make it blue for nighttime. And I tried to set up the apps to make them come on automatically at blue at nighttime. But for some reason, it turns the lights on and it turns them off, no problem. But it doesn't make it color blue. I don't know why. And in the routine, it says turn on light 100% brightness, color blue. So I don't know. So I just tell it to change the color to blue, and then it changes the color to blue. But it's strange how some things work and some things don't work automatically for you. So yeah, but we'll have to wait and see. So I'm real anxious to get one of these SW7s to work. And if one works, they'll all work. I have another SW7 back here. This is one I got from a estate sale. I couldn't get it to work, and then I found out how I can get these things to work, and very simple. See that bar? See that silver thing there on the bottom? That's what gives it power. That's ground for the motor. This is the motor for that engine, okay? And these two prongs that stick out, they touch that, and that's what grounds the motor. And then the top one is the power. So what you do is you just put a piece of tape over that. Now, another trick I learned is you can solder a wire onto there, and that gives you your ground wire for the decoder. So then you can put a piece of tape over that, and or you can use liquid electrical tape or whatever you like to do, or Teflon tape or whatever, and then cover that. And then when you put the motor on there, it doesn't round it out. And I always change these. I put this on the top, this one on the top, and the flat one on the bottom, just in case this doesn't hit nothing. And then I break them off because it's on the top. You don't need it. Just have to worry about that spring that's inside here. When you take this off, the spring will fly, and then you go, where the hell did that go? So you have to be careful about that. So this is another F7 that I have, but I'll wait and see if it works. Then I'll be able to convert this one. Then I'll have 4 SW7s. And this all started because my only SW7 that I had was a BLI, and that doesn't work anymore. And I've been working with their support, and they've been bouncing back and forth, and they want to charge 100 and some, I forget what it was, over $100 for repairs. They'll get it working for you and everything. You know about that. But for $100, I can get 3 engines almost running with new motors and this and that. So, and I'll have 4 of these then. So these have the knuckle couplers on them, but they'll be changed to KD couplers once I get the engine running, which probably over the weekend. Yeah, I saw your posting too, Bob. I mean, it's getting warmer now. Like I said, it was in the 40s here today. Still a little cold to paint. It's definitely my keyboard. My keyboard's going out. Oh, yeah. Oh, my keyboard is very dirty, and I take off a key every once in a while and clean it. Takes time. I got to get me one of those. I ran out of the spray, the spray the keyboard off. But I see somebody was using that spray to clean the dust off of the engines. I saw a video of some guy. I forget who it was that was doing that, but I saw that they used that air, compressed air. Um, Same thing you use for your keyboards to clean off the. Oh, good evening, Mr. Rubber Balls. Welcome. This is the first time you are here. I don't know your first name, but thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's just a matter of, I guess, a little patience with the U.S. Post Office. Now, the thing I got from Midwest Model Railroad out in the Midwest, they're shipping by UPS, and that got shipped and it's on its way. It departed from Kansas City, and I'm waiting for the next scan of the package. It'll probably be the next scan will be when it's in New Jersey. That's supposed to be here Thursday, I think it said, if I'm not mistaken, or is it Friday? It says, oh, arriving February 20th. So that's Friday, because tomorrow's the 19th, Thursday, and this is Friday. And it's still, yeah, it departed from Kansas City, Kansas today at 12:42 a.m. So that was very early this morning. So that was over, well, 12 hours would have been 1 o'clock, about 20 hours ago, it departed from Kansas City. So it should be in New Jersey by now. Got good weather for all the traveling and stuff anyway. So when it gets here, it gets here, and then I can start working on these engines. Meanwhile, while I'm waiting for these parts to come in, um, I'm getting the other trains working and running. So, like the train with the camera car on it, I was not running that for a while because I was painting the inside of that tunnel. So I ran the train again, and I had two cars that I just got to add onto that train, and they were derailing, and I took them off, and I had to change the trucks on them. I 3D printed a couple of trucks, and now they run smoothly. So yeah, the one car came, and the trucks were connected with a pin, and you just push the pin into the hole, and then it would keep the truck on. Well, what happened was that was getting loose as it was running around, and then it fell off, and I said, "That's it. I'm going to put a screw in there," and I changed it, and then it ran around without any problems. So Yeah, so that train is all set up and good to go. And I was working on the 2 track cleaning engines today, and I had some trouble up on my 5th level with them going through the double crossover, and there's 4 turnouts in a row on that one section. There's a turnout, and then there's a double crossover. That's 2 turnouts, and another turnout the other end to get into the industry area. And the um, oh yeah, maybe. Um, you know what? I'll try that. That's a good suggestion. Um, I I can take the Fred car off the track and put the camera car behind there and run it through and see if that makes a difference. Because, but then wouldn't it do that other places inside the tunnel? I think it has something to do with what's in the tunnel, because the whole tunnel is made out of white foam. Okay, that whole layout was a kit from Woodland Scenics that I got when I first started out my trains. It fits on a 4x, that's a 4x10 section there. And well, it was a 4x8, and I made it a 4x10. I extended it a little bit and made bigger area. But the mountain, all the products are Woodland Scenics products, and that foam is all white foam pieces to make up that mountain, and then the white plaster paper, and then you paint it and put all the scenery on it that makes up the mountain. Who's Brad? Oh, well, hey Brad, welcome. I didn't see you pop in. How you doing? So, I that's I'll try that just to see if that does it. But I noticed on the camera that there was some big white areas in there, and I'm thinking of taking Reynolds wrap, crinkling it up, painting it black, and putting that in that spot, and pin it together there. It'll look like rocks, and there won't be no white exposed. So, like I say, I got to review the camera, the video again, and see exactly where I got my 2 white spots, and then go from there. So, but thanks for the idea. I'll definitely try it without the Fred car on. That light isn't really that bright, but and then I don't know what's causing the purple color either. So that's a whole different thing. And so I'll have to figure something out. So we'll have to wait and see. And we'll just go from there. Well, guys, it's 9:15 almost. And I think I'm going to call it an evening. If anybody, unless somebody has any more questions or concerns. GE balls. What's GE balls? What's GE balls, Bob? I don't know what GE balls are. Yeah, clouds on something. Yeah, that's good. Sky blue. Yeah, I can make those lights sky blue. One of the colors is sky blue. I was going to try that one day and see what that looks like in the daytime. You know, instead of having bright white lights in there, have them sky blue lights and see what that looks like for the scene to make it. So I'll see. I'm gonna give that a try too. But well, like I said, I'm gonna call it a night, guys. I want to thank everybody for coming in. On the way out, don't forget to hit that like button for me. I'd appreciate it. And thanks again for everybody showing up and spending some time with me. And I hope everybody has a great week. Don't forget to watch Jim Tedesco's show tomorrow. He comes on at 6 o'clock. And hopefully he still has good internet service. He is, I think he was getting Starlink. I think he got it in, but I don't know if he got it set up yet or not. So he'll have better, more reliable internet service than his cable company. So again, appreciate everybody stopping in. I want to thank you all for again, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of your week and play with those trains or run them, whatever you like to do. I work on my layout every day, 7 days a week, and it keeps me busy. So if I see something, I have to 3D print it. I start 3D printing things. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a good night, and we'll catch you all later. Take care.